Made a new friend in Grimsby, Mal. He'd bought a boat which he needed shipping from the east coast to the west coast by Essex man. You can't escape a photo bomber anywhere nowadays. Now, I'm no expert, but this looks iffy. Okay, disaster has struck. The wind came on the nose. It was no longer possible to sail to Scarborough, so I went to turn the engine on, started motoring, and then it just spluttered out and died. I've now got the boat just basically parked on the sea, drifting towards the shore slowly while I investigate the engine, see if there's anything I can do about it. Okay, it's decision time. There's not much I can do about this here, bouncing around. I can either call the RNLI and get towed in, or I'm going to have to do something else. I've decided to sail round Spurn Head and anchor if I can, and then see if I can mend the boat at that point, and then make a decision after that. After a difficult sail around Spurn Head, I found a nice anchorage and settled down to sort out the issue. I found that the primary fuel filter was blocked with some sort of goo, probably diesel bug. After I replaced this, the engine still wouldn't start, so I had to investigate further. This turned out to be the fuel pipe from the tank to the engine had actually blocked as well. But with some electrical wire I managed to clear this and eventually got the engine going again. Thank the Lord. After finally getting the engine started and a somewhat harrowing trip back across the Humber through the commercial shipping lane, safely back in my mooring at Grimsby and settling down to come up with a plan. Okay, I have a two-part plan. The Commodore of the Club is going to come and polish the fuel, which is filter it out and filter it back into the tank, and I'll build an auxiliary tank and fittings that I can attach to the boat in an emergency, just in case this happens again. I now need to go to Hull. Currently walking through Grimsby to get to the bus to go to Hull. Spare parts for building the auxiliary fuel tank for the boat in case the dreaded diesel bug strikes again. Nice looking civic building of some description. Looks like a town hall to me. I'll have to check later. I know this is not a bus. The bus did not exist despite what customer services at Stagecoach said. So now it's going to be a train and a bus to get to Hull. Well, starting on Hull,
Looks very nice. Barton on Humber, I should say. Looks very nice, really. Little town. I'll find somewhere to settle for an hour while I wait for the bus, but I think I found it. Rebecca's licensed tea room. Looks very nice.
After an 8-hour trip to do 64 miles, I now have the kit ready to build. Okay, emergency fuel kit ready to be deployed. Hopefully I'll never ever have to use it at sea. Found this great gripper in Audi as I was preparing to leave. Fabulous for getting stuff out of the bilge. Finally ready for a second attempt to get to Scarborough. Good morning, you find us aboard the Spectrum. Second attempt to get to Scarborough. Just heading towards Spurn Point at the moment, which is somewhere. I don't think you can see it, it's over there somewhere. See, we've got the sails up, but unfortunately there is virtually no wind at the moment. So we're under motor yet again. So let's hope it keeps going this time. See you all later on. Look out, here comes a dolphin. And now a seal. I doubt if you can see this, but there's thousands of seabirds on the sea and on the cliffs floating around. I think it's unlikely my camera's going to record this. Anyway, it's worth a try. Things turned out a bit better than expected with the wind, and I motor sailed most of the way to Scarborough. This ended up being about a 10-hour journey instead of what was predicted to be nearly 16 at one point. Does have the oldest complete lighthouse in the UK, 1666. Fact check, it was built in 1669 and the oldest surviving complete lighthouse in England. Even though I'm half a kilometre away from that wind turbine, it's still pretty intimidating, I can tell you. It is huge. Another one coming up in a moment as well. Just coming into Scarborough, looks very grand from here. From the back of my boat. Okay, reluctantly I'm going to have to take apart my autopilot, which has
suddenly decided to go do lally and not steer correctly anymore. I'm hoping it's something simple, but it doesn't look good. More in a moment. Okay, simple removal of 8 screws, and we have the insides, which don't look terribly wet or corroded yet. I'm going to have to remove the PCB to see what it looks like underneath the compass. Some crude additions onto the side of the motor, which I'm not sure whether they're original or not, but anyway, I don't have a problem, everything's working there. I can see the compass here, and it's attached to the PCB at that point. My only hope really is that we've got a loose connection of some description there, so I'm going to try and just liven up those connections a bit. I'm going to have to remove the compass. Well, I magnified it and looked at it. There is nothing really obvious, or even slightly obvious. I think I'm just going to have to put it back together again, and then see if I can get some smooth water to try and calibrate it again. Amusements. More amusements. Still plenty of fishing going on at Scarborough.
For all your taxidermy needs. Having climbed up into the higher part of Scarborough, there's a great view of the bay and a nice bridge. A beautiful little park running down the valley. And this leads you to the Grand Hotel with the funicular railway going down to the beach again. Who can resist the funicular? And at low tide, this mud bank was to haunt me later on. Nifty little scrubbing wall available for boats when the tide goes out. After a very pleasant day in Scarborough, it's off to Whitby. A heart-stopping moment as I bumped the bottom on the way out of the harbour, but we're away and sailing.